Hello everyone, welcome to the brand new episode of The Business Queens. Today we have ravishing Miss Megha Kapoor on the show. She is the Chief Growth Marketing Officer in Odla. Other than that, she is also a seed investor in many startups of e-commerce in India. So Megha, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Ishleen.
So Megha, tell us how this all started, how you all thought of becoming an entrepreneur. How did you think of starting something which really focuses on digital marketing? Because, digital marketing is something which is the need of the hour. And especially when it comes to businesses, businesses cannot grow without marketing.
Mm-hmm. That is so right. See, so I am one of the players in the region who have, more than 1.5 decades of work experience, especially on the digital marketing front. So my experience started from India back in 2008 after doing my master's in marketing. I immediately started working in a startup which was offering digital marketing services to various clients out there, such as, Philips, Adidas. Okay, so these players back then, they didn't have much of an understanding about the importance of digital marketing, right? And at that point in time, there was no understanding about e-commerce. So when we talk about digital marketing, it was more about having your Facebook page, building followers, adding followers, the high level of engagement. These were some of the insights. Like it was more of engagement driven back then. So that's how I started my journey. Also got an understanding about what SEO means, how SEO is helpful, not from e-commerce perspective, but for overall brand's digital presence. I also got hands-on learning Google Ads, Facebook ads. So just like I said, I was among the few players out there, and it was just my luck, I would say, Ishleen, that I got into that landscape. And back then, I wasn't very sure whether this industry is going to grow, going to shape out, whether did I take a risk, should I be focusing on offline retail or other areas. But I took a leap of faith and carried on in this industry. Luckily, things happened so great for me. Back to back, I ended up getting opportunities. Like I said, I've worked on few accounts like Philips, Adidas, Nestle. So all those things that happened from these player side on the digital front, I was one of the players who contributed to those inputs. So that's about my journey in India, starting from 2008 to 2012. And then I got married to someone who was based out of Dubai, and I had to quit my job. And that's when I explored Dubai as an industry. When I came here, I felt like there is some lag. What we've been doing in India 4 5 years back, that's something which I observed had been the case. So I felt that there's a gap in this industry, in Dubai industry, that back then that can be fueled in based on my learnings from India. And when I got an opportunity, I started working in Universal Media, which is part of Middle East Communication Network. I deployed all my learning back then into, the clients based out of Dubai. So that was an excellent experience. And then I started with my e-commerce industry, started working for some of the lifestyle applications, which are, top five rated application in today's date. So I've happened to work in Kareem, that is like that is like Ola cars in India. Then there's Entertainer, which is like Zomato in India. So, luckily, all the experiences that I gained from India, I deployed in this landscape and been part of the learning process. Until today, I feel learning is never ending. So I'm carrying forward my journey here.
So, when I was listening to you, highlighted something very, very important, which still I feel many people lack information about, when we say digital marketing, it's not only social media marketing. It's such a vast field which has so many things into it. So throw some light on what actually digital marketing is and how can business owners take leverage of it.
All right. So, like I said, when I started digital marketing, the definition of digital marketing was totally different. Over a decade of 1.5 years, from engagement, community building to like hardcore e-commerce, performance marketing is, how it has transcended. Now we are at a stage wherein we work with client closely. And for example, if they spend $5 on ad spends, on digital marketing ad spends, we would assure that they would get not just that $5 back, but $10 back. Okay, so how that is done, it's the science that is deployed, which is by the concept of performance marketing, which is part of digital marketing. Okay, we define KPIs for the client that we are not going to waste your money. If you're giving us this, this is the outcome. So keep us in consideration. And how will we get to there? That comes with the set of practices, learning, historic data, ability, and the resources that are deployed on the projects.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So recently I came across a course in performance marketing. So one of my clients was asking me this, shall I take one of my employees and tell her to, do that course, or shall we hire a digital marketer? So what would you suggest to business owners? One thing. Second thing, what are the things they must keep in mind while they are going to hire a digital marketing agency? Because, there are a lot many players in India today, in the market today. And sometimes it becomes quite tricky for business owners to decide which one shall I go for.
Right. So it totally depends on various factors. Now, for example, if the company is just started, let's say there is a brand being launched which is into selling kids apparel. Okay, now a player like such would want to do things in-house to save on the cost. Yeah, they don't have the budgets. So, ideal situation would be to hire someone on freelance basis who understands performance marketing in and out, or on consultancy basis, and deploy a couple of interns so that whatever learnings, practices that the expert wants to share, while he is also working on the working with other players, if he or she is able to spare like an hour or two on this player's account and give guidance to the interns that, okay, this is how the campaigns can be optimized, these are the things that can be deployed on the website or on marketplaces such as Amazon or Flipkart, the things can get deployed, and based on that, together team can get a lot of learning. Yeah, so this could be one of the factors in case if the pockets, if completely a project is bootstrapped. However, if there is some seed investment that has been deployed, then the advice over here would be, that the clients must partner with the performance marketing agencies out there. So one of the agencies that I represent is by the name of Odla. We offer performance marketing solutions to our client for the e-commerce growth. Okay, there are very few players out there who would be working with client based on targets. So for example, if we are telling our client that if they can give us, let's say, $50,000 a budget, against this kind of an investment, there will absolutely be a return of $150,000. So imagine the cost of goods sold, the gross margin, net margins, all of that is being put into consideration by the team of experts, okay, and get into practice for the clients. So this is how clients like such can be benefited. And now when we talk about when, high level of series of fundings have been crossed, that's when it's advisable for, for these company to go in-house, build a strong team, something like how Zomato is operating.
Yeah. So, when you were saying that, there is something that just crossed my mind. There are a lot of misconception in the market when it comes to digital marketing. There are a few people who, promise that once you start doing digital marketing, you will start earning from 15 days, 1 month down the line. There are few who say that it takes minimum 3 months for a digital marketer as well to understand what works for you and what doesn't work for you. So what is a myth and what is the reality?
So I would say it's kind of a mix. If one actually finds for a solution, they'll definitely get the solution. So for example, I, as a person, I am very much immersed into what I really want to achieve in life. If I'm doing this course, I would by hook or crook ensure that I find an opportunity. Even if the company is not able to get me any kind of placement, I will be knocking doors of the various clients out there. In case if they don't have budgets, my approach would be take me as an intern. I will work for free or give me a small stipend so I can cover the expenses, the basic expenses. Because if I have money for doing a course like digital marketing, I also have money to take care of my funds, the necessary expenses just to get into the picture. Digital marketing is more like getting into a swimming pool. Once you are actually in it, you start swimming, crawling, moving here and there, and you get the basics around it. And whatever is being taught as a course, it is totally useless if there's no practical experience. So this is what my advice would be to all the people out there who are investing money on digital marketing and are struggling to get a job. For them, forget about the big hefty packages. Take in any opportunity, even if it's an internship or at an executive level. Just get into it, irrespective of what your age is. Just get into it. That's when you will get to have the practical knowledge, and each day, like I said, you will gain more and more of knowledge.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would also say that digital marketing is something that every business owner must know about, because there are people who are not aware about it. Recently I was talking to one of the clients of mine, and she was like, we don't have budget to spend on digital marketing. So I said, and what is the budget you are looking at? She said somewhere around 1 lakh or something. I said, no, you can start with as small as 15,000, 20,000 per month. So it's not
That is
like
so
you don't need hefty amount to invest. You can start with a smaller amount. Gradually, you can keep on increasing it, because, no matter your service is excellent, your product is excellent, if you are not able to market it, if there is no visibility, who's going to buy it? So digital marketing is a perfect way to reach your ideal client.
Absolutely. I'm a firm believer of 4 P's of marketing: product, price, place, promotion. So if the promotion wing is missing, trust me, the whole venture is a fail. And if digital marketing is not taken seriously, uh, I don't think so survival is there for beyond 5, 6 years.
Right, right. So, okay,
Especially
tell us one more thing. What role does data analytics play in digital marketing?
so data is the backbone of performance marketing. What is performance marketing? How am I and my team are in a situation to offer like a targeted result? We can't be blindfolded, right? So based on the data we derive, for example, on an e-commerce website, okay, let's say this kids apparel brand, okay, let's say there are hundreds of SKUs, okay. Now, what are those SKUs that are contributing to the result? Okay, let's identify those top 10 SKUs. Okay, and if marketing is done just for those 10 SKUs rather than going so diversified with such small budget, one would actually end up wasting their time and efforts, because that is not likely to yield a result. So when we have analytics in place, we know what the customers are intended to buy. Okay, based on this permutation combination backed by data, we're able to deliver the targeted result.
Right. So there is one more thing I'm really interested in, there are people who put up visual ads, like there is a poster kind of thing to grab the attention. And these days, video ads have also, gained a lot of impetus. We see a lot of video ads coming up. So what do you suggest is better, brings, better results, the video one or the visual one? And what are the things a business owner should also know if there is an ad copy in front of a business owner, that okay, you choose which one do you like better? So what are the things they must consider for that?
So, see, Ishleen, when there is a brand launch, let's say Nescafe wants to market its top selling SKU, let's say, which is the sachet, okay, rather than the bottle. How will that awareness be created? Is it just going to be confined to a TV ad? No. Okay. Is it just going to be confined to a print ad, or is it just going to be confined to one of the ads on Instagram or Facebook or Google ad? That cannot be the case. So there's this omni-channel perspective one needs to be adoptive to. Besides omni-channel, one needs to consider different ad formats to be kept in consideration. For example, I as a person might be there on YouTube consuming the video content, right? While you as a person would be more on Instagram and you're not keen about the video, you may want to check out the stories. okay, and see what the brands have to say. Or there could be another person who is more into what the influencers have got to say. So it's a beautiful amalgamation of different formats that one need to put into consideration to pass on the message.
Yeah, and when you were saying that that different people have different thing, there is one thing that I've seen many ads missing on, which is the hook. So, many a times we see ads, but it is not able to grab the attention. So, what role does a hook play? And, what should be the ideal format? If you can throw a little light on that.
Okay, I'm not so very sure about what you mean by hook. If you can elaborate that.
Yeah, so by hook, I mean the attention span of people is hardly 3 to 5 seconds. So, how
Oh,
do you grab the attention in initial 3 to 5 seconds?
all right. So this is where performance marketing actually comes in play. So what we do is we do A/B testing. For example, let's say there are 100 users brand would want to target. The first 50 users are shown a promotional message. Remaining 50 users are not shown a promotional message. But there is a high level of targeting. Let's say Nescafe is targeting me without any promotion, but it knows that I'm a big time coffee lover. Okay, so it's going deeper in terms of the targeting. So when we do a lot of A/B testing, that's part of performance marketing, we get to know that, okay, what kind of content is going to resonate very well with the user, based on which the hook, the time span that you just mentioned about, can be enhanced further. Okay, so also let's say if a user doesn't click on the ad just by seeing it in the first 4 5 seconds, nevertheless there will always be an opportunity to reach out to the user through some different ad formats or through different channels.
Right. Okay, so let's talk about the other aspect, which is seed investing. So you are also an investor in some e-commerce companies. So as an investor, what are the things you look for if a person comes to you and tells you that I have this e-commerce, I'm from this industry, I'm selling this product and whatever. So what are the things an investor actually looks for?
Absolutely. So the biggest pillar, I would say, again, for the investment decision is data, the forecasting. Okay, identifying what market needs to be capped, what is the current demand, how is the competitors landscape look like, okay, and what is the USP involved for the products that are being launched. Okay, so once the data is being presented and is digested very well, okay, that if it seems promising, first year may not be around getting the profits back. Second year may also be like that. So as an investor, one needs to be really patient in terms of the investment that they've put in. There cannot be any immediate return. So with patience and by digesting a lot of data, one needs to take a strong decision, putting in some money there, and wait and see how the performance is turning up to be. And after putting in the investment, just don't let it go. Keep a vigilant eye in terms of how the trackers look like, whether it's on monthly basis or quarterly basis or annual basis.
Right. And you know what? There is a lot of buzz that the people are not getting funding these days, things like that. So, one more thing I want to discuss here is, what is the right time to decide whether I should go for funding or not? One thing. Second thing is, I've seen people, doing a fake valuation to get more funds, and then they are not able to handle the funds. Then they are not able to bring profits to their business. So what would you like to say about that?
I would say it's a very creative approach. One needs to be very cautious about it. So ideally, if I can manage bootstrap, I would definitely be looking into that. So I can at least be able to build an MVP, which is the minimum viable product, and that's something which can be shown to the investors. Of course, there is a lot of wrong practices out there where the numbers might be, goofed up here and there. One cannot actually control that. But if the investor understands performance marketing, understands PNL, understands the e-commerce, by this I mean to say, if they have a thorough understanding about the industry, if they have experience, they'll be able to identify when they are being goofed up, or when the players out there are being transparent to them. So it's all about the historic knowledge one carries.
Right. Okay, so let's talk about your journey as an entrepreneur. How do you see yourself now and the time when you actually started off? What difference have you seen in you as an entrepreneur?
So, before I started up with my entrepreneurship journey, I was working in Unilever Middle East. This is one of the biggest opportunity that one actually looks into. Like all the IIMs, IIT pass out would happen to be joining either Unilever or P&G or place like such. I ended up getting an opportunity there, and one thing that I learned was that in big corporate, uh, there are various processes one needs to follow. But as a startup, because I had some experience working on startup, I knew it how easy it is, to kickstart things. And one doesn't get lost in the puzzle of processes and things like that. And there's like a big hierarchy there. So from there, I took it as a learning that, if I am able to deploy my experience in a startup space, where there are limited people doing the quality job, limited processes to be followed. Of course, I'm not against processes. It's a very critical thing for every business kind. But, rather than having too many people doing a small job, this is something which I am not a believer in. So, that's why I transcended from a corporate culture to a startup. And by God's grace, it's been 3 years now. I'm in this entrepreneurship journey, and the way things are evolving, especially post COVID, where there is so much of adoptness amongst the player out there to partner with the startups, because they believe that the e-commerce growth can happen by having the right set of partnership in place. So thankfully I've got this opportunity. The clients are globally based out of New Zealand, Australia, UK, US, and some of the best practices are getting deployed on their accounts, and we are able to deliver the numbers. And this is how it's a win-win situation. So from a corporate to a startup journey, I would say I'm much, much happier here. Sorry for being so honest.
Completely true, and I, being a business coach, I primarily work with women entrepreneurs, and there are a lot of them who say we are happier being an entrepreneur. So no offenses to people who are in corporate jobs. It's everybody's own choices. Okay, so tell us something. Have you faced any challenges when you actually ventured into entrepreneurship, or the transition was quite easy?
Of course, I had to leave a very secure job, which was taking care of all my medical expenses, the recurring monthly salary, the annual bonuses. I had to let go of that with a leap of faith that, okay, this may or may not work. In case if they may not work, of course, the corporates like Unilever are kind enough to get the employees back. So this kind of a risk I thought of taking, and surprisingly, day by day, the demand peaked, and so much of progress. Now there is no going back.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, so tell us one more thing, like entrepreneurship and being a woman. Is it easy for a woman to venture into entrepreneurship as compared to their male counterparts, or is it a little difficult? Like, how have been your experience?
So, okay, it's a very sensitive topic, and it would vary from couple to couple. Uh, Thankfully, my husband has been very, very supportive in this entire, transcending journey. And of course, that's because he had a stable job in hand. That's why I could have taken a leap of faith. But, also, I didn't have any responsibility. I'm 37 years old, and I have no children yet. So, of course, I didn't have much of responsibilities. So I was like, okay, I can afford to take this risk. But out there for people, like I said, there are various factors involved. So factors such as support from family, husband, your children, all these factors play an important role. So I've been lucky there. I know there are other people out there, of course, who've got children. They may have sabbatical for some time, but when they get back, they come back with full speed and do wonders around.
Right. So, entrepreneurship is a journey of ups and downs. And I would say in a startup, it is more of downs than ups. Still, it depends from, the person to person, industry to industry. But still, there are many times when you feel really low. You feel like giving up. So, what is one advice you would like to give to other women entrepreneurs who are listening to us today?
All right. To all the women out there, I would say it's important to have a mentor in place. Like I have a mentor by my side, and anytime I feel low, all you got to say is, it's all right to feel bad. It's all right. Things may get better. So hold on, stay there. So till the time, you don't seek help from a mentor or someone who's supportive or listening to you, it gets really challenging to do things by yourself.
Yeah, that's true. And sometimes you feel stuck, and some expert or somebody, when they actually push you up and they tell you that everything is going to be right, it really helps because
Right.
somehow, positive mindset plays a very important role, whether it is entrepreneurship or anything in your life.
That is very true.
Okay, so whenever you feel low, how do you, put yourself up front other than, yes, obviously having a mentor is something which is really required. So do you also feel demotivated sometimes, not feeling like doing something? So how do you keep yourself energized at that time?
Absolutely, I'm a human being, and of course, it cannot be a bed of roses for anyone, including me. So during time like such, if I would end up going out for a walk, let's say after having difficult conversation with client, I would just shut my system off for 45 minutes, 1.5 hours. I will simply go out to a garden, take a walk, listen to music, and divert my energy. And when you are able to divert your energy, and you are able to think from a different perspective. And when you get new perspective, like when you think from a different perspective, you might be able to find a solution to how you can resolve the current challenges.
Absolutely. And I always say that, there are few things that work for everybody. Like for
Right.
me, taking a walk would work. Maybe for somebody else, talking to somebody who's very close would work. For somebody, music can be therapy. For somebody, hitting the gym or doing meditation, yoga would be therapy. So one must know, one must be self-aware and know whom should they look up to or what activity they can actually indulge in to
Right.
distract themselves, which is extremely important.
Yeah.
So, what
The
is your vision for this, women-led businesses in the upcoming years? What do you think? Where are we heading to?
I think mental health is going to play the most important role over here, because till the time there is no positivity and there is a lot of toxicity around, one cannot progress. If one foresee there is toxicity, put a hold. It's all right to take a break, no rush. One has the entire life ahead of it, and keep a positive approach. Focus the energy on the right channels rather than deviating from the main topic and overthinking.
Right.
Even if this requires investing in some psychologist,
Mhm.
psychiatrist, let's go for it.
Right, right. Because I think in this case, acceptance is something which is really required. Many a times we lie to ourselves that everything is okay. But we need to accept that it can be something where we actually need some expert advice.
That is very true.
Yeah. So, Megha, this brings me to the end of today's podcast. What is
Right.
one message you would like to give to our audience who are primarily women entrepreneurs?
All right. My message to them is, yes, do take care of your mental health. Um, Look out for your mentor, okay? And do not feel afraid of taking challenges. Uh, you guys can see my journey, how I've transitioned from working as an employee in a startup, then corporate, then having my own entrepreneurship journey in place, and being one of the successful player out there in region. So the advice, like I said, focus on positivity, have your mentor in place, and don't give up. It's all right.
Thank you so much. And it is a powerful message indeed that you should not give up. When you give up, you close all the doors that can lead you to success. So, with this, thank you so much, Megha, for joining us today. And it was a pleasure to have you here.
Likewise. Thank you so much, Ishleen.
So thank you so much, everyone, for joining in today. This is Ishleen Kaur signing off. See you in the next episode.